Of course, as we know, as I've mentioned in the previous video, the idea of Avdin Rishayim Rina, we have a tremendous simcha at the time that a Rasha is put away, especially one who's a Roidef Yisrael. It's even brought down in Siman Shin Mem Hey that a person who's a kofer, a heretic, when he dies, instead of sitting avelut, you're supposed to have basar yain, you're supposed to have a simcha from such a thing. As the Zohar points out, that there's the idea of having a tremendous simcha when he dies. And you know what? Lamaisa, we sang Az Yasher. By the Yam, we sang Az Yasher. You see, for the fact that we sang Az Yasher at the time that even though there were Rishayim that were drowning in the oceans, but we were very satisfied with the fact that the Rishayim were dying. And people have asked, and this is the question that needs to be addressed over here, is that we all know that the Gemara in Megillah says on Daf Yud, the Bikshu Malach Yashar Lomar Shira, the Malachim wanted to go ahead and say Shira, and the HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, my creations are drowning in the ocean, Shira, and you want to go ahead and say Shira? HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mitztayr. Hashem has a certain sorrow over the Avdin of the Rishayim. The Rishayim are also dying, sof they're Ma'aseh Yadai. And therefore I don't have a simcha from such a thing. So how can you go ahead and say Shira? Halacha l'maisa, we don't say Hallel on the last day of Pesach for this reason. The reason we don't say Hallel on the last day of Pesach is because we know that be'avdin Rishayim, it's a certain reason not to overpraise ourselves. Listen to the words of Rav Aaron Kotler, which answers our question for right now in our present stage when we're so happy about the assassination of a big Russia, one who is the biggest tentacle of Khomeini, the extension of Iran, and one who is able to see, hopefully will be able to see his downfall of his whole entire empire, which was the biggest threat to Eretz Yisrael that there was. Says Rav Aaron Kotler in Chela Gimel in the first siman over there. He asked by Shira Lenes, we sang Shira at the same time we know Ma'aseh Yadai Tavim Yom. And he says like this, an interesting chiluk. The reason why we praise Hashem is for two reasons. First of all, we say there's a Shevach Lakel, we give praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're happy, and we give thank you and Hodah and Shevach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the first reason. But he says much more than that. A song, as we all know, is a point of dveikus. It's a point of connection. It's a place where we can go ahead and spiritually uplift ourselves. When we sing, there's no such greater feeling as being able to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Shira. Shira is a tremendous tool, as the Ramban says in the Shari Gemul. We mentioned in the Life After Death Shurim, we spoke about music over there, that over there he says the second greatest connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu after the Torah is Shira, because we all know it gives a certain uplifting feeling. I always understood that's the reason why a person likes to dance. That's why we have such a enjoyment in dancing at the time when you're Shira. Where is that? It's your neshama pulling out of your body. It's trying to jump up to Shamayim. It's trying to get out of your body because it's such a spiritual uplifting feeling that you just feel like you got to dance. You feel like you got to get something out. You want to go ahead and do it. So any Shira that is channeled in the right direction, that's a fantastic thing. It's one that builds a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So even though on one count you have the idea of the praises of Hashem, but there's a second count, and that's the connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is created by the power of Shira, by the power of appreciation. Hakol b'mishpat tzidkecha v'yira am et Hashem v'yaminu b'Hashem u'b'Moshe avdo az yasher. It came from a feeling of not just recognition, but also not just appreciation, but also recognition and connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A new relationship was built between the two of us. Says Rav Aaron Kotler, so by the Malachim, who are Omdi, Malachim have no room for change. Malachim are what they are. An angel is an angel, and that's what he's going to remain. He doesn't change. When they sing Shira, they're singing the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's their job. That's their, if I could say, their robotic job. That's part of what they do. When something good happens, automatically they go ahead and sing the praises of Hashem as Kebiyochel HaKadosh Baruch Hu deserves. That's what they do. But that's it. They don't go any farther than that. On that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ma'aseh Yadai Tovim B'Yam. Excuse me, my Ma'aseh Yadam, it's not a good time. I don't want you to sit and praise me for this idea, because right now it's a sad time. My Tzelem Elokim, my creations are sitting and drowning and suffering in the ocean. However, when it comes to people, there's a second level just beyond praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is one, but it's that we build a new level of connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We build a new relationship that we felt we didn't have. We had some catalyst in order to recreate something that we might have lost between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that new relationship that we have between the two of us comes through the power of song. That's where the Shira comes from. That's where the Hallel comes from. That's where a certain appreciation comes from. That's where we go ahead, and that helps it, as he says, considered L'hamshich L'dorot, that also is able to continue it from generation to generation. when they see the tremendous simcha, it's able to continue on and put it in our kishkas that we can go ahead and keep that appreciation forever. The song of the Shira we keep doing from year to year in order to keep that that emunah that still stays steadfast between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what it is. So therefore, Shira is appropriate, but it's leveled in a certain direction. If the Shira is only there in order to, say, ha ha, we're so great, look how fantastic we are, or because you love to see the bloodshed of these evil people, which is not such a bad idea, but if that's what it's about, so in that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ma'aseh Yadai Tovim Biyom. And even another step, even if we're coming to praise Hashem, it could be over here, we also say, Ma'aseh Yadai Tovim Biyom. Why are you making a kiddush? There's some people here that made a kiddush. There was a dance that night, the Motzei Shabbat, people were dancing around and there was music going outside in the park. Is that why you're doing it? To say, wow. If the reason behind it is, if I could say, Kochi ve'otzim yadi, look how powerful we are, look how good shape we are, we're so strong, then you're absolutely right. The taina is a strong taina. Ma'aseh Yadai Tovim Biyom ve'atem omrim shira. That's the kind of shira I want? No. But if the shira comes from a place of connection, of dveikus, of building ourselves, of making a change, realizing from here, like we spoke out in the previous video, that this is the next step towards the Biat Mashiach, the Gilu of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're finally able to see a little bit more of an attachment, the beauty of the Jewish people, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu protects us, the fact that He's surrounding us. If that's what the shira is all about, then you know what? That's a shira, that's a mitzvah, d'oraita. That's a shira, that's a good shira to do. That will be mahalul meshabeach like Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that will say, the idea of the Aziyasha B'Avid Ushaimrina, as the Zohar we pointed out last time says, that you should go ahead and give Tehillah Lifnei Hashem, give Tehillah to Keneged Arishay Olam, to go ahead and praise the Kadosh Baruch Hu because of all the Mefursamos, all the Nisim Gluyim that He's done for us. Mikan and B'Zvat Hashem, it should continue hala until Mashiach Tzidkeni Yavot. Amen.